Yes guys, how's it going? And welcome to Player Watch. That's right, down here outside of St James's Park on the lookout for what looks to be Newcastle's first signing of the summer, Lloyd Kelly. I say that, I had a seminar thing in town this morning and I thought I'd come up here and talk about Newcastle because there is a whole host of transfer news coming out this morning, and you know, if Lloyd Kelly fancied walking past, that would make the video even better. Before we get into it, be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Loads of videos coming out this summer. Newcastle Euros, hopefully, as I say, a few transfers for Newcastle very, very soon. I also took the chance to take a look at the stack. It's looking amazing. I think the hope was they would have it set up and ready for the Euros, bearing in mind it starts on Friday and England are on Sunday. I don't think they're going to quite make that deadline, but I'm hoping for the start of the season it will be up and running. And finally got a chance to go to that club shop. Every time I've walked past, there's been a queue for about 4 hours, so I did bide my time. I did go in. There's still loads of home shirts if you want to go in and grab one, and not so many training tops left, so if you want to get one of them you might be better off looking online. Having said that, it won't be long before the actual club shop's open, and the second kit, the away kit, will be released, so there's plenty to come. But as I say, loads of news in the world of Newcastle United this morning. 2 outgoings, 2 incomings. We'll talk about both of them in this video. We'll start off with the outgoings. Ryan Fraser, heavily linked to a move to Southampton this morning. Obviously, I very much doubt we'd see him here today. He's already been in Southampton on loan for the entirety of last season, helped Southampton get promoted from the Championship to the Premier League, and I think as Newcastle fans we were kind of, not that I've got any real alliance to Southampton, but hoping they would get promoted and that they would take Ryan Fraser with them. In fairness, Newcastle have done a pretty decent job this summer of, fingers crossed they do, because it hasn't happened yet, of trying to move some players out. I know it's very exciting to talk about players coming in, but as we know from last season, we had a lot of players who were kind of on the bench in the squad, you know, as Eddie Howe says, no doubt some of which were having an impact behind the scenes. But I think at some stage we need to kind of move on to the next stage. Paul Dummett has gone, Matt Ritchie has gone, Ryan Fraser heavily linked to making that move to Southampton this summer on a permanent, so fingers crossed that does go through. There's also links this morning that Isaac Hayden has agreed with the club to mutually terminate the remainder of his contract and move on, which again, you know, is a player who we really haven't seen at all for some time. And don't get me wrong, Isaac Hayden was a good player for us at one stage, but times change and players need to move. And a player who we actually did see a lot of this season, the most of out of all of the players we've discussed, and looks like will be heading out, is Martin Dubravka. He's been linked to a move to Celtic this morning. I saw a little comment on Twitter actually saying good move for everyone all around, and then one of the replies was not for Celtic, which, you know, maybe is a little bit harsh, but another player who was fantastic for us in his time. You know, most of the players I've just mentioned there really were great for us at one stage or not. At one stage or not, that makes no sense. At one stage for Newcastle United. However, now as we try and take our steps into the next era of Newcastle United, they're just not anymore. And it's a shame because Dubravka, as I say, single-handedly kept us, you know, in the Premier League, kept Steve Bruce in a job for seasons upon seasons, but for whatever reason, age, ability drop just hasn't been the same, and it's expected that he will probably go this summer, and it's Celtic who he's been heavily linked with. Now, let's move on to players coming in, and from one goalkeeper to another. Could we see James Trafford around here this morning? Well, I've not seen him yet. Heavily linked to Newcastle, as has a few different goalkeepers. Obviously, Nick Pope has been brilliant for us, but was injured quite a lot last season, and there is rumours that maybe that shoulder injury isn't going to, you know, well, I was going to say fully heal. I'm sure it will fully heal, but I think it's, from the sounds of things, is that Newcastle want to be prepared that should Pope be injured again, that we have someone in to back him up better than Dubravka did. Now, that's the thing, don't get me wrong, we've had heavily links to the likes of a Mamardashvili from Valencia that I think a lot of people got very excited for. I think that's possibly why the links to James Trafford have kind of maybe not been met with the response that maybe it should have been or could have been. But I think it's a good sign, and I think that Nick Pope is still a very good goalkeeper, and I think if he can stay fit for a full season, will be brilliant for us this season. He was the goalkeeper who took us to the top 4, not long ago. But with the injuries, we need to bring someone in who can, I think, 2 options: either go above and beyond and bring in a new goalkeeper who will go ahead of Pope, or bring in a younger goalkeeper to play behind him. And I think possibly with the Mamardashvili 40-45 million, James Trafford 15 or so million, and it's reported that Newcastle have agreed terms with the player so that James Trafford is happy for the move. Bear in mind, both from Burnley, both for a similar price. Newcastle's fee is reported at payment to Burnley is meant to be around 15 million, rising to around 20 with add-ons, bearing in mind that Man City do take a percentage of that as well. So I think Trafford will hopefully learn behind Pope and come into his own. What I was going to say was, you look at the likes of Tosin at the centre-back who went to Chelsea. Had we have got him and the other centre-back I'm going to talk about in a minute, it's not a secret, it is Lloyd Kelly. Had we brought in 2-3 centre-backs, maybe we could have gone and splashed the cash a little bit further on that goalkeeper. But I think partly Newcastle are trying to be reserved of how much they spend in certain positions and how much they want to spend in each position. If we go out and splash 45 million on Mamardashvili, will you guys be disappointed that we don't go out and get that new right winger, that we don't go out and get that striker, that we don't potentially get a centre-back that we need? I think Newcastle are trying to be smart, and I think for right now what we need, Nick Pope is already fine. Nick Pope is already a really good goalie. So to just make sure we have strength in that position is maybe more important than splashing big money on a goalie and then not having money to spend anywhere else. But as I've mentioned, one player who is, as reported, coming in on a free, and as I've said, would be great if we saw him behind us today, is Lloyd Kelly. Heavy links to him throughout all of this summer window. The window, technically speaking, doesn't actually open until this weekend, does it? I keep getting this wrong. Is it? Yeah, I think it is. Reports coming out this morning from Fabrizio Romano and a few other outlets that Newcastle have now agreed terms with the player, and the transfer is to be done. Newcastle had already been in talks with him for quite some time. Obviously has left Burnley on a free, so we haven't had to, unlike the Trafford situation where it's understood that we've now agreed terms with the player, all we need to do now is confirm the agreement with Burnley. This is what's great about him not only being on a free, that we don't have to pay the club any money, but because he's on a free, we're not having to do this back and forth. It's just literally, we are talking to him, we're trying to get things set up. It's reported by Fabrizio Romano, David Ornstein, Sky Sports, that Newcastle have now agreed terms with Lloyd Kelly, and that we're going to be setting up a medical for him very, very soon. So I would have been better off. Well, if only my seminar this morning was at the Newcastle training ground, and then I could have been over there. But yes, the deal is thought to be as long as 4 to 5 year contract, which again is kind of expected, because when you're bringing a player in on a free, yes, we're not having to pay the club any money, but we're having to pay someone some money, the player, Lloyd Kelly, and he's going to be asking for a decent wage and a decent contract. And that's one of the things that's actually getting more and more popular in the game, is that players are like running down their contracts so they can walk away on a free and go and ask for whatever the hell they want at whatever club they want, obviously within reason. But yes, it's very exciting to see something kind of moving quickly for Newcastle this summer window, because it's always the worry, especially in a Euros with competitions going on. Once the Euros kicks off, the likelihood is a lot of the transfers and what's going on will dry up. I know that Lloyd Kelly isn't in the international squad, but the hope is that quite a few players that Newcastle will be looking at this summer window quite possibly will be internationals, and because of that they will be wanting to concentrate on the tournament they're taking part in. They're not going to be ringing home every 5 minutes to discuss deals and medicals and contracts. So I think it's important to get things done quickly. I think to have Dubravka and Fraser, Dummett, Ritchie, players that really at this point aren't stepping forward with us, moving on, and to have Lloyd Kelly and Trafford done, for the pair of them, 15 million, which really, as I've mentioned already, you cannot buy anyone for 15 million these days, done, that ain't a bad start. And there's still plenty of work to do. I want to see that right winger. I want to see that striker. I still wouldn't mind seeing another centre-back in there. I think there's still movement of players going out too, so there's loads to do this summer. But I think for, standing here right now, not that long ago we were still playing football here, in terms of the season. It's not been gone very long. I think we've not made a bad start. Now, obviously, I will be smiling a lot more and actually when things are official and Lloyd Kelly is spotted behind me down there signing his deal, we can enjoy that and then move on very quickly to what we have to do next. Thank you for watching, guys. Hope you have enjoyed this kind of impromptu video, but there's plenty going on right now. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know your thoughts down below on Newcastle's hopeful success of bringing Lloyd Kelly through the door, and the likes of a Dubravka, Fraser leaving. And I suppose I've not even mentioned Lewis Hall as well. Does he count? Because technically speaking, we are purchasing him this summer on a permanent. So I think when the window officially opens, that will probably be one of the first ones that Newcastle actually announce on the opening day, to say that we've signed him, because technically he was on loan, but we've signed him now. Thanks for watching. Stop talking. Enjoy your day, and I'll catch you later.